Hey there guys, today I'm going to be discussing the war on drugs and why marijuana should be legal. Alright, there's so many good reasons why marijuana should be legal and the war on drugs should end, but I'm going to start off with the basics. First of all, usually people say that marijuana is a gateway drug. That's probably one of the number one reasons why people say it should be illegal. It's not always necessarily true though. I myself have not been talked into or had any thought of trying anything besides pot and mushrooms. I've done DMT, but all those things are natural. I mean, DMT is a natural chemical produced in your brain every single night when you sleep, and it can be found almost in every single living organism on the planet. So that doesn't really count. And mushrooms are just another normal thing that really has no negative effect on you. Pot has no negative effect on you. But the whole thing saying that it is a gateway drug and will lead to harder drugs like cocaine and heroin are always not necessarily true. Like if someone were to smoke pot and then decide to do other things, obviously they had the thought of trying all kinds of drugs in their head when they started. I mean, you don't just go, hey, I'm going to smoke pot. Obviously, you want to try drugs, which means if you want to try drugs, you're going to try all kinds of drugs. It doesn't even matter if you don't like pot. If you didn't like pot, it's not going to stop you to go try something else like cocaine, because there's differences. I mean, cocaine is a stimulant and marijuana is a depressor. So if you don't like depressors, you might like stimulants. It doesn't always make you want to try, pot doesn't always want to make you want to do other drugs. It could even be the same for like food. I mean, say you ate like a cookie or something. I don't know, like you're a little kid, you had some candy or a cookie. It might have led you to want to try other foods that might not be necessarily healthy for you, like cheeseburgers from McDonald's or the 50-piece McChicken nuggets. Maybe even giant fudge brownies, you know. I mean, there's people at my school that get big Texases and Mountain Dews every single day. That could have been a outcome of trying something unhealthy but very tasty from an early childhood, you know. So it's not always has to be about drugs that are a gateway. I mean, other things. You can't even say that diabetes and eating unhealthy foods is worse than pot, because the two are so far apart. Pot has literally almost absolutely no negative side effect on you. It doesn't kill brain cells. The only reason why people say it kills brain cells is either one, they're lying, two, they don't know the truth, or third, they heard that a report taken back when Reagan was in presidency that they had a marijuana test to see if it killed brain cells. And what they did is they hooked up monkeys to gas masks essentially, and they snuffed them with 5 minutes of straight-on marijuana smoke and not allowing them to get full, clean air. I mean, we're not sitting there smoking pot for 5 minutes straight without getting any fresh air. We take a hit, we hold it in, let it out, and you breathe. These monkeys were getting literally 5 minutes straight of absolutely nothing but marijuana smoke. Of course you're going to lose brain cells. When oxygen doesn't get into your lungs, it doesn't go into your blood. When blood doesn't have oxygen in it and doesn't go to your brain starts to lose brain cells because your brain needs oxygen. So the whole thing on it losing brain cells is a complete scam because it was not tested appropriately. You can't overdose on it. You could like overdose on it if you smoked like 15,000 pounds or something ridiculous like that within like 15 minutes. If you've watched the documentary Totally Baked, that's a great documentary, some good humor in that movie. But it is true. I mean, it is like it's supposed to be relative to stoners, but I mean, it's completely true. There's haven't been any deaths directly related to marijuana. It doesn't make you lose your memory. It doesn't make you stupid. I mean, when I'm high, I actually am more concentrated and focused. I actually learn more from when I'm high. And and I don't have memory loss. I mean, I've been smoking for 2.5 years now straight, almost every day, all day. And haven't been any negative effects on my grades or anything at school. I mean, I'm usually a C student because I just don't put in effort. But now I'm getting A's and B's in all my classes. I could get straight A's if I really, really tried hard enough. But I've always been a person that have been lazy and unmotivated. But I know people that have fulfilled successful lives, and they've smoked pot every single day of their life. So it has no negative effect on your memory. And it doesn't make you a lazy, unmotivated burnout, because most likely you're smoking at 6 o'clock at night when there's really no need to do anything else but sit around the house. When you're watching TV, you might as well smoke some pot. It's not going to kill you. Yeah, there are people who smoke it and get in car crashes and stuff, but it's honestly, when those people get in car crashes, those are just stupid teenagers who literally are on other drugs. I mean, they're probably drunk too. You don't just get high and decide to go 50 miles per hour down like 80 miles per hour down a little busy town street when there's cars everywhere and crash your car. No, when you're high, you're actually more concentrated and focused and are more alert. So you're driving slower, you're driving more securely, and you're more aware of things. Because I think way more clearly when I'm high than when I'm sober. Anyway, people usually start smoking and doing drugs when they're around teenager age. Like, I mean, when I was 13, that's when I started to get interested. I mean, I was smoking earlier than like cigarettes, because that's my cousin Clay. He had all kinds of stuff to do with that. But anyway, so when I was 13, I just was kind of curious. I didn't want to, because I've realized that people have the same thoughts every single day. That's why we can't use more than the little bit of brain that we use. I mean, we have so much potential in our brain, but we use so little of it, not even half of your brain capacity. But that's because we think the same thing over and over again every day. And I wanted to think beyond that. I wanted to think more than what the normal person thinks. So I tried using pot, and it has changed me. I mean, I used to be this lazy. I wasn't really interested in anything. I just sat around and played video games when I got home. But now and I didn't even like outside. Like, I hated it. I thought it was, just some god-awful place with like trees and dirt. But I found out that it's a beautiful place, and I'm actually now interested in bonsai trees of all things. So it does do positive effects on your personality. So these people like Drug Free America and Above the Influence, they target teenagers. And honestly, I could say this from personal experiences and experiences that I've seen at school, that teenagers just don't like being told what to do. And if you tell them to do something, they're going to do the opposite probably, They just don't like being told what to do. So you're pretty much making it worse for yourself, honestly. And all they do is target pot. Like, pot's like the center of all that is evil, and it's really not. I can go to school tomorrow and get any pill that I want. Pills are way worse than pot can ever be. I mean, you take like Vicodin, that messes your liver up so bad. I can't even begin to describe it. They even have synthetic heroin now. I can get that at school. I can go to school tomorrow and get OxyContin, Vicodin, Percocets, Klonopins, synthetic effing heroin, Adderall. I mean, frickin' ADHD patients. ADHD kids with ADHD, they come to school and they sell their Adderall because people just want to get high on it. It's ridiculous. And if you could honestly say that pills are better for you than pot is, then I will personally come to your house and give you a cookie, because it's not true. You can't even imagine that. I mean, pills are so much worse for you. Watching TV, you're watching like some kind of antidepressant, like lower your cholesterol kind of pill, and they have all these side effects like depression. You could have suicide thoughts. You can have like internal bleeding in your anus or something ridiculous, And it kind of makes me very angry to see people think pills are way better for you than pot is. Pills. The reason why kids take pills is because it's, one, legal, and two, it's easy to obtain. You can get it from your parents. You can go to school tomorrow and buy it. They're easy to obtain, and they're legal. Kids will usually always go for the legal alternative because they don't want to get in trouble for get arrested for doing heroin or cocaine or something. And people usually start on pills, and they work their way up from there, from when they get older and they can afford and can obtain even harder drugs. And you can actually lower the use of pills and hard drugs by legalizing marijuana, because everyone usually that likes to get high likes pot. That's usually what everyone kind of bases their opinion around. They like pot. They like the way it makes them feel. It makes them, want to eat. It's a great, medicinal purposes. There's so many medicinal purposes you can have for it. But people think, you could literally lower the use of pills and hard drugs from legalizing pot, because people are going to go for the easy drug that's legal and it's healthier, so they don't have to worry about pills that kill their liver, because people know what they're doing. They know that they're hurting themselves. They just don't care. But if you give them something that's not that bad for you and they still can get high, everyone's happy, And if you legalize pot, you'd bring in so much money to the government. But even though I'm not at all for the idea of the government taxing pot and distributing them themselves, I think it should just be like something, some people decide to make a marijuana dispensary, they grow their own thing, or they get it from Mexico or something, or Canada, and they could sell it and make it their own profit. But I'm guaranteed that if the government were ever to legalize pot, that they'd want a benefit from it. They use pot as a scapegoat a lot, and they would want to benefit from legalizing it. So they'd seriously make billions of dollars a year, not only from people that want to smoke it or use baked goods. They even have THC pills, Tootsie Rolls with hashish oil in it. You can get all that stuff, and that there, using baked goods and stuff, completely neutralizes all negative effects on you, because the only real negative effect is tar in your lungs after smoking it, because when you smoke anything, you get tar build up in your lungs. But if you were to eat it, you seriously have absolutely no negative effects on your body. And I think that's great if you were to just legalize pot and sell the THC capsules, the candy, the ice cream, the brownies, Rice Krispie treats, what I have to say are really good. If you were to sell all of those in a dispensary, kids would get to be, well, not kids, because you have to be over 18 probably, but kids would, adults, anybody over 18 could get this without hurting their bodies. They can pay money. It would stimulate the economy, and the government would make so much money off of it. It's unbelievable. And then we could use the products to make hemp products. We could make hemp products like paper, clothing, anything, because hemp is a great fiber to use. That's originally why it got illegal, because some guy had a paper industry and was going to go out of business because hemp was just used for everything back then. So that he ran a smear campaign against pot, saying that black men were smoking pot and raping white women. That's originally why it got illegal. So, you can make so much money off of it. It's unbelievable. And then we'd also we would stop wasting our time on the drug cartels in Mexico. Maybe for the harder drugs, but for marijuana, we would cut all that out, because we spend probably just as much money on pot than all the other drugs combined, trying to stop it from getting passed over from Mexico to the United States. And there's fighting and killing going on, and the real way to just stop it is to just legalize it. If we were to legalize pot, then they would have no reason trying to fight and kill people to smuggle their pot over the border. And then we could actually pay them to give us the pot to sell in the United States, which, is a friendly bond between the two countries, and we'd have we'd be making some serious profit, because God knows this country is in some serious debt right now, because we have made some really bad decisions lately. And so we would seriously we'd seriously just roll in some serious cash flow, and we'd end fighting, and everything would just be way better, honestly. So the really only true way to end the war on drugs is to just end it. So all I gotta say is live above the ignorance, people.